think we're on. I'm really hoping that it's recording. Guys, I just spent quite a while.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, quite a while trying to get the sound to work, and with the pesky old iPhone. But before we get into it, I do want to say that by the end of the year, I would like to get 333 fine subscribers. So if you are not subscribed and you feel so inclined, why don't you hit that button? And if you are already subscribed, tell your friends, and let's get this thing popping. But before I get to the question, we are going on tour here in. Actually, we may, depending on this is episode 111.
What was the last one that was just came out?
What? The episode that just came out was 104.
I was like, this is what,
111? Yeah. And so, honestly, we may already be back from tour at this
time travel.
Whenever this comes out. So, but we are. And if you'd like to support us, go to phantomsam.com and get you some merch. We got some Art of the Jam shirts and some band shirts and whatnot. So, and stickers and whatnot. So, if you like sticking stickers on stuff and putting shirts on your body, then that's the place for you, phantomsam.com. But in the tradition of Art of the Jam, I have a question for you, audience, as usual. And I keep looking at this, and then I'm looking at that, and then because I started writing, it doesn't matter. But our question for you today, audience, is your success affected by your background or your upbringing? Meaning, does it matter where you came from? Does it matter the trials, and not necessarily the trials and tribulations that you had to deal with, but does the environment that you were brought up in, does the how and where you were brought up, does that factor into success, or does it really matter, or does it factor into what I feel like we'll get into it. I'm just going to ask the question because now I'm starting to actually my cogs are starting to turn whenever it comes to this question. I'm cogging and frogging. I don't know what that means, but cogging and frogging. Put that on a fucking Art of the Jam shirt.
Bumper sticker.
Or Art of the Jam bumper sticker. Let's fucking capitalize on this shit. I'm trying not to curse in the intro, and I fail every single time.
Well, technically, that is
what?
Like is like a bodily fluid.
I don't know what you're saying, but I'm going to repeat myself with this question, guys. Is your success affected by your background and or upbringing? That being said, cue the intro. That was a new sound. Anyways, we're back from the intro, if you didn't know. And our question was, is your success affected by your background and your upbringing? And before I get into it, Space Camp, what is your
I felt like I was made for this question.
You feel this? I feel like everybody was made.
I was trying to be funny, but honestly, like a success, like a drive, like if you have like a certain thing that happened in like your past or like is happening, it like can create drive for your success for whatever you're wanting to do,
Right.
or like your passion. Like me, like getting sober and clean off methamphetamines. Like that was my first step into like really buckling down and actually doing the music and actually being serious about it instead of actually talking about it like I would for years. And so like background, I guess it yes and no to me. You don't really like if you want to be successful, be successful.
Exactly. That's kind of what I don't think it necessarily. I think I accidentally asked two questions here.
I think you did.
But let me specify. So I said, is your success affected by your background and or upbringing? And then I said, does it matter? Right? And so I don't think that it matters where you came from or your upbringing, but I definitely think that it affects your upbringing, and it affects your success. And meaning, kind of to weigh in on what you were talking about, I think that if somebody say somebody was born into, and obviously this is through the lens of music and art, and say success to you, because obviously success could be, hey, I want to grow up and I want to be an accountant,
right,
or whatever. But
so
anything. But from our perspective, it's like, say you were born into music. Obviously, if that's what you want to do to be successful, you got it made, like immediately. Like you were born into it. You were probably. I wrote down a couple of names, and there's this. I don't know if you've ever heard this. He's, I think, Italian guitar player that I just discovered recently. His name's Matteo Mancuso.
That's a cool name.
And he's like a real young guy, but he's just a wicked jazz, like a jazz fusion. I would consider him. I think he's technically a jazz guitarist or classical, whatever. But it's like people like him. Because I was like, how are you just that good? And then you look at his background, and it was like, oh, he was born to like a family of like classical flamenco guitar players in like Italy. He was handed a guitar at the age of 10. By 11, he was playing live.
Right, that's it.
You know what I mean? It's like people like that, and then you have people such as like Joe Bonamassa. Joe Bonamassa is kind of the same vibe. He was I don't know much about Joe Bonamassa's background, but it was like he was playing on stage with B.B. King at like 12, and it's like, obviously he even if he
like Billy's. Was it Billy Strings or no?
We'll get into Billy Strings. I have a tie-in with Billy Strings here.
But wasn't he the same way though?
I think he was born into a family, but he's a special case. And I'm gonna scribble that down because I didn't. It's kind of weird you say that because
isn't that what his name is?
Billy Strings. He's like a bluegrass.
Okay, yeah, that's what I just
player.
wanted to make sure I got his name right.
I mean, he plays with everybody, but
right.
He's a bluegrass picker.
But I'd seen videos of him like what it was like 14 years old, and it was like crazy.
Yeah, and like for instance, like Derek Trucks. Right. It's like Derek Trucks was playing with the Allman Brothers on stage at like 12, right? But then you have the other side of things where you have like people like Claypool or Hendrix, where like Claypool, it was like he was in high school, he went to high school with Kirk Hammett and stuff like that, and I don't think that really has anything to do with it. I just think that's a fun fact. But
that's Metallica's guitar player.
He even auditioned for Metallica, but that's a story.
I knew that.
If you know anything about Les Claypool and his upbringing, you know that story. He tells it a lot online or on podcasts and interviews and shit. But you have people like that genuinely worked hard. He grew up in to a family of like mechanics, and so he's like a mechanic. Like by trade, he's a mechanic, and it's like he had to kind of like scratch and claw his way,
Right.
you know. So that's what I think. And like Hendrix, he was born like a military. Like he went into the military, and then and kind of like scratch and clawed his way, in a way. You know, he did it out of necessity. Like he needed to do it, but I don't think he was born into it. And but that's what I'm saying. It's like I think that success is kind of your success is affected definitely by your upbringing. I think because if you were saying it's like you always sat there and told yourself or talked about playing music, and you didn't have the resources. You know what I mean? Or you were brought up into like and for lack of a better term, like a shady your upbringing. You know what I mean? Like you obviously have a background. I mean, we all kind of have a background in drugs, depending on
Right.
the severity. But it's like you sit there and you talk about it, and then until you actually find the resources later in life,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And I think that's a big issue with some people, because I know there's people out there that like grew up in a small town. They don't know how to get out of it. They don't know where to go. They have no jams to go to. They have nobody to play with, or you know, it's difficult either way. I think success is definitely affected now that I'm actually, because I came up with this question literally like right before I went outside to and seeing you out there, and I was like, dude, let's fucking record. Yeah, because I sat there and I thought about this question, and I was like, man, I think that's important to bring up to people, because we're not all, you know. And I said this on the episode that I'm editing right now is with Jason Golden, and there's at one point where I say, and sometimes I say things and I don't. I'm a human being, right? I say things sometimes, and then later I'm like, why the fuck did I say that? Or like, what did I mean by that? Or I'm like, I think I was wrong to have said that. Or I think differently. But what I had said to him was, we're all dealt the same ingredients in life. We're all born with the same ingredients, right? It's just how we move those things around, and how we cook with them, what we cook with them. You know what I mean? It's like, but I don't necessarily think after writing this question, I don't know if I necessarily believe that anymore. Because I don't think, unless you dig down deep, I don't know if we're all born with the same. We're definitely not born with the same resources or ingredients, if you want to put it that way. It's kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like, because like you're saying, it's like there's, and obviously it depends on what you're trying to do. And what
You
you're
don't
trying
have the right formula at that one point in time.
Right. Maybe.
Or you just haven't acquired that experience yet, you know?
Yeah.
Like that upgrade, you know? Once you like pass that threshold of, I don't know what to call it, but like you know what I mean. But like when you feel like you yourself level up when you're doing something.
Yeah.
You know, like
Absolutely.
you just like hopped over that threshold.
Like I feel like, yeah. And I think that goes with, you know, as far as like figuring out how to be successful. Like we're still obviously working at it. We're still like low. We're still, I won't say we're on the bottom of the barrel, but I think we're definitely clawing at making.
Still see the bottom.
Yeah, we see the bottom, but we are tooth and nail. We're definitely, we can see the bottom, but we're clawing we're making headway up that barrel. I think. I like to think we are, but you know. But whenever it comes to success and things like that, yeah, I feel like there's like a point in which you do see you kind of plateau a little bit, and then you kind of like realize like, oh, I know how to hop over the fence now. Like I know how to. Because once you plateau, I feel like now you're like, oh shit, I'm in the same place. I'm not getting any better. I need to figure out how to get higher. I need to figure out another route up to the next plateau. Because I don't know if you do that, but it's like we were talking about. We always talk about getting caught in loops. I think that's another word for a plateau. Like you get to that point where you're like, I'm just doing the same riff or the same movement over and over and over and over and over again.
I hate it.
Yeah, but
because even I even feel that way when we play songs sometimes. Like like 3 songs back to back to back, and then I feel like I'm doing the same fill inside of it. Like
yeah,
like can you not?
yeah. And I mean, and I've said this before. I think that those just become part of your vernacular, and so it's like that's part of what makes you you. But also, you getting sick and tired of doing that over and over again is also part of you, and it's like that's how you progress. I feel like
because I do have some weird fills that I do.
Yeah, yeah, but as far as like how do I get into this? We were talking about Billy Strings, right? And so Billy Strings, he's a different case, I feel like, because he's extremely successful. He was born into a family of musicians, but he also had I don't want to say a bad upbringing, but I feel like he always talks about how he was like into drugs. They were doing, like the song Dust in the Baggie or whatever that song is. It's like he has this like drug-addled background that was holding him back, and it's like he eventually got out of that and became wildly successful, but he put in those repetitions, you know what I mean? He sat there and I forgot who we were talking to about it, but he was like would do like meth and just like do the same riff for like 2 days. And like he came from this weird background where he probably had at least some resources to make it just from his background, but he also put in the heavy work of the scratching and the clawing and
right.
You know what I mean? He's like a weird case, and but there was a quote. I read this quote the other day. It was Louis Armstrong quote, right? I see trees of green, red roses too. I don't know the rest, but I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Was that a good one?
So dumb.
I thought it was pretty good.
That is good, but it's retarded.
I mean, of course. Well, we can't say that anymore. It's 2025, but I want to still be able to say that word, but it's okay. You already said it, and I'm not going to bleep it out. So.
It's already been did.
Yeah, if you're going to cancel anybody, cancel him. I didn't say it, but no, there was a quote. There was a quote by Louis Armstrong, and I'm going to butcher it because I didn't write it down. But he said, "If I don't practice for a day, I know it. If I don't practice for 2 days, the critics know it. If I don't practice for 3 days, the public knows it." And that lit a fire under my ass, in a way. A fire that never went out. I don't know, I just made the fire bigger, I guess, because I've always personally been, never had really any struggles with like trying to get myself to practice. Like but it was just such an enlightening thing to read, just because it's like how important practice is, and on a regular, at least every day. And I'm kind of curious you know, if you're out there and you're listening to this episode, I want to know what like what your guys' practice regimen is. Like, no matter what you are, if you're a musician or you're a painter or whatever, it's like how many reps you putting in every day? You know what I mean? It's like I'm just kind of curious because there are some people.
I don't play every day, but also I'm dealing with a full-time job and other shit like that. So like,
Right. No, but there's people out there that can play. I've seen people out there that literally probably practice on their own once a week and play for a couple hours with their band once a week, and they fucking shred.
right.
And it's like, what the fuck, dude? Everybody's different, and everybody has a different I don't even know what the word you would call that for. Everybody has a different way
Right.
of doing things and stuff like that. It's like, because there's people like for instance this Louis Armstrong quote. He's basically saying you practice every day, you're gonna fucking lose it. You know, people are gonna know if you're not practicing. And but at least that's what I get from it. But then there's people like Tal Wilkenfield, she's like a probably other than Flea and Claypool, she's among the best bass players on the fucking face of the earth. She played with Jeff Beck, and that's honestly all I know what she played with. But she did the national anthem on bass
That's neat.
at a Kiltony, which was fucking amazing. And but she's like from like the Buddhist standpoint, she basically was saying like, you know, I never practice more, like I never practice more than a certain amount a day, like rather than like what am I trying to say here? She's like, I practice slowly so I can get the right tone off my finger. I get all the notes right and the succession of notes perfectly before I start speeding it up. And she'll like practice for like 2 minutes, and then she'll stop and she'll just sit with it and she'll think about it, and then she'll do it again, because she has this weird, I guess there's this scientific theory basically that like if you when you take a break, like that's why recess is so fucking wicked and good for children, is because obviously it takes a break or gives their brain a rest from trying to learn and process information, and it actually allows them to process information better later because they had a break from it, right? But whenever you take a break, she was saying that scientifically, that riff that you're working on, your brain plays it over and over again whenever you stop. Like, plays it like 200 times the speed backwards in your brain, and that's how it like forms synapse, like your synapses form together. And it's like, that's kind of a wild concept too, because but that's the thing is like everybody's different and everybody's practice regimen is different and works differently for them. You know what I mean? It's like to be honest with you, if I and I obviously I don't mean anything by this, but if I practice the way that you practice, would not work for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, but also you're you're a drummer, which is a physically demanding instrument. And so it's like, I'm not saying you couldn't practice the way that I practice, but I imagine you'd be 10 times more exhausted from day to day if you practiced the way that I did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, it just works differently.
And you know, and I've always been the same way. I don't go no longer than 2 days without playing.
Right.
So it's not like I don't practice on my own, you know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, usually because I have this weird schedule from like obviously Sundays and Mondays I usually do not play. At all. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on is when I usually play.
Well, and see that I
But ooh, that was loud. Sorry.
It's all good.
But that's just me, you know. That's what works for me,
Right.
you know, and I feel comfortable with that.
Yeah. And see that's what's weird is like when I got sick this past, or it was honestly actually now like a month ago that I was sick.
That was weird because I got home from work and I didn't see you out there. And I was like, maybe it's a like a relaxed day. And then I looked at my phone. And I was like, no, it's not. It's like, I wonder if he got sick. And then I texted you the next day, and you're like, yeah, I'm sick. I was like, I was right.
Yeah. No, I got super fucking sick, anytime I get sick, I bring my guitar out there with like, cause you can only sleep in bed for so long before I'm like, I need something to like, I can't just lay here in pain. I have to have like the TV or something. And so like, I'll go and sleep on the couch for like 4 days, but I'll bring my guitar out there and just like be with it. Cause I'm like, what I'm getting at is like, I went like 3 days probably without picking it up and actually playing. And to be completely like candid about it, this is going to be kind of weird, okay? But I was because I didn't play, and you don't realize like some people are like you play and your hands get stiff and they don't do what they want to do because you've been working them, right? Mine almost did the opposite. It's like they started to like stiffen because I'm not moving them all the time. And I'm one of those people that when I take a piss, I kind of shake my dick. Everybody shakes their dick, but I shake it a little bit more than I probably should sometimes. It's because I get carried away. Pissing to me is one of those like, this is going to be, if anybody knows who David Goggins is, the super intense workout guru guy, he calls these little moments of rest mental aid stations, right? Where he doesn't ever take a holiday or a vacation. He's always constantly working out his mind and his body. But whenever he's like, say, in the shower, that's like a mental aid station. It's like that's little mini vacations throughout the day, right? Pissing is the same, almost a mini shower. Now, stick with me here.
It's gonna drop on the flowers.
Whenever I'm pissing, you're looking down at the toilet, and it's like you're only focused on that one act, right? You're focused on getting the piss in the toilet, right? And so, like, I start to think about things. Like, it's like you start to, like, oh, what am I going to do later? What am I going to do about this? Like, I'm planning an episode. It's like, what should I talk about? What should the question be? Like, I just start churning those things. And so whenever I shake my dick at the end of the piss, I'm still in that station. So sometimes I'm just sitting there and I find myself just shaking my dick for a long time. Right? Okay, but this is that isn't even, I don't even know why I said that, because this is why I said it.
You shake it more than twice, you're playing with it, you know?
Yeah, then consider me playing with it, but no, I was shaking my dick, right? And after I was sick and I started getting better, my forearm, like the muscle in my forearm, right? This is the reason I mentioned shaking my dick, is because that's how I discovered this, right? I'm one of those, like, I hold my dick like a cigarette, right? Between my two fingers. Okay? And I shake it like this. Look at me shaking my dick, figuratively. I would shake my dick like this, and my arm doesn't work. Like it's I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost like nerve damage. Like, you can't move it. And yeah, after 3 days, my arm didn't work, and so I was like, basically, moral of the story, Space Camp, is I can't go a day without practicing, personally. But I know that was a long little, took you on a little.
So moral of the story. So moral of the story. You shake your dick like you're flicking a cigarette. So
That's not the moral of the story, but that's that's definitely on the that's on the journey. That's part of the journey. Yeah. I took you on a little roundabout, so I apologize.
No, but I get what you mean, and like just knowing you, yeah, not seeing you have your guitar in your hand is weird.
Yeah, it feels weird. But that's, I guess that was my long form way of saying that I can't go
And also,
long.
my brain is always everywhere, and I have so many different distractions, dude.
Yeah. I get that. Sometimes I get distracted too, and
all the time.
And I realized too, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but when you do play, I realize there's never, like, you're never bad at your instrument, right? Obviously, whenever you're first starting to learn the instrument, you're pretty bad at it. But
you can't run.
Yeah.
You can't crawl.
But you're never bad at the instrument. You're either in the middle of point A to point B, and you're learning how to you're figuring something new out, or if you also, from like the existential philosophical standpoint, I realize, like, if you practice a lot, you're obviously going to notice more bad days playing your instrument than regular people, right? Because it just increases the odds because you're always playing, right? And what I'm getting at is, if you look at it from like an extension of your being, your instrument is an extension of your being. If you are having a bad day, if you are worried about something, if you are stressing or you're distracted here or there, and it's going to come out in your playing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you can't land this riff, are you focused on landing that riff? Are you focused on something else? Are you,
right.
You know what I mean? Or that beat or that rhythm? It's like, sometimes you got it. Sometimes you do have to rest and recover and sit with your instrument. That's all. Sometimes you have to realize, like, I'm not in this. I'm not playing my instrument poorly. I'm poor right now. I am. And it's coming out of my instrument that way. You know?
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely understand that. Because, half the time when I do funk, I'm somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not focused on what is happening right now, and that's one I do. And I'm like, oh, when I fuck up is when I, like, realize
I'm not in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, shit, get in it, dude. Like,
yeah. Who was it? Actually, that's a perfect segue here. So, album of the week, all right? And there's a reason I grabbed this. I'm going to be honest with you, not a big Tom Petty fan.
Me either, but right. I enjoy Tom Petty.
I do. It's a thing. I feel like everybody enjoys Tom Petty, but not everybody's.
When it comes on, I'm singing to it, so.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of songs that slap. But would I obsess over him?
And also Tom Petty, like, I don't know why, and because I never really, like, grew up listening to Tom Petty, but, like, it just takes me, like, when his music comes on, it just takes me like a childhood, like, good time of my childhood part.
Especially there's the song, "Let's Get to the Point and Smoke Another Joint."
Yeah,
No one knows how it feels.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But also, "Don't Do Me Like That."
Don't do me like that.
That takes me back to like Waffle House for some reason.
Yes.
Like that, it almost has that,
being
like
a shitbird.
Well, I don't even mean that. But yes, but I was a shitbird at that time. But "Don't Do Me Like That." It almost has like it exists exclusively in a diner. I don't know why. "Don't do me like that." I just imagine it on the jukebox, drinking hot coffee in the middle of the night with your bros, half drunk, maybe did a little something else too. But no, but this is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Damn the Torpedoes. And I didn't even realize that is his 12-string Rickenbacker guitar. That's kind of crazy.
Rickenbacker?
But the reason I picked Tom Petty today is because he had a quote, and I don't think this is exclusively his quote, but he's the one that I first heard say it. But in an interview, he basically says that you're only as good as you practice. And so I was like, okay, what does that mean? Because I'm like 12, and I don't really register things. Even though it's really, now that I'm an adult, it's like pretty straightforward. You're only as good as you rehearse, as you play. It's like obviously there's some outliers out there. I'm sure there's bands that don't rehearse, but they probably play out every day of the week. You know what I mean? They don't need to.
And with our schedule, I mean, we jam forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because
which is not a bad thing. I enjoy it. So.
Yeah, that's the thing is, that's when jam is like, it's like you're in it, like you were saying, like, I mean, you were using it as the example of like you're not in the headspace, you're somewhere else, and that's why but from the other standpoint, it's like when you are in it, it's like jam is like it's almost like a workshop. It's like you go into this place, and if you're really in it, the longer you play, you'll exhaust all of your tricks. You'll do, I got this little fancy thing, I got this little cool thing,
I know
this little
that.
thing. You exhaust all of them. You use them all. You get tired of them all the longer you play, and then you're forced. There's a turning point in the jam where things get interesting. I mean, honestly, I think that would almost be the same turning point as, like, panning for the gold, and then you get the gold. And I think that's where it is like you get to that point where you've used up all your tricks, you've tried, and then this thing just zaps you. You land this thing, and you're like, oh shit, I've never done that before. That's kind of wicked. And then you sit there and you ride that out for another half an hour. And that's jam is. That's why I'm like, I don't. So there's sometimes I feel like I'm like, yeah, maybe I've been playing this riff for too long, but I unapologetically don't give a single fuck. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's how I find new things for the most part. I mean, like, I practice on my own, I find new things too, but you really get to test your brain and your ability whenever you're jamming for long periods of time. I can say that's probably why another reason why I like the tape side guys is because, like, I don't think they gave a single shit that we played for 52 minutes straight. That jam was 52 minutes, which you'll see that. Watch the tape side episode number 104.
Oh yeah, dude, it didn't even seem like it was that long either.
No. But I don't think we also set a timer or anything.
No, we didn't. We knew better with those guys.
Right. But earlier you were talking about how you said something about, like, you always tell you back in the day you tell yourself, like, or not tell yourself, but you always talked about playing, right? But when we were at the beginning of the beginning of the conversation, we were talking about success, and you were always like, I'm a former addict, and you're basically talking about how you would always tell yourself things or talk about playing and never actually do it, right?
Yeah.
I was and we in the van the other day, because we played Cider Days, Springfield. This is coming out probably long after that, but Cider Days was fun. Shout out to Anthony, our sound guy. He was swell. But and this dog shit that I stepped in bare feet.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, it just came off right away. It was very dry, but it was okay.
Yeah, but it felt good in your toesies, huh?
I actually didn't feel it. Like I just kind of like I stepped in it as we were loading in and out through that yard, and then when I was on the sidewalk, I smelled dog shit, and I didn't even look at my feet until like later. But there was nothing on my feet. But I was like, okay, I think I stepped in dog shit barefoot, and
What happens?
it just it does. But basically, I was talking about the concept of telling yourself things. I don't know if you remember this, but it's like it's so aggravating to like I'm realizing basically when it comes to practice and when it comes to just being disciplined as a musician or an artist in any way, it's like there's people that it works for them to like wake up and look in the mirror and be like, I'm gonna have a good day. 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 I'm fucking awesome, and that works for some people. But it's like, I feel like the real work. It takes work to do that. You can't just tell yourself that I'm gonna be good. You have to go fucking be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Usually, sometimes, like, most of the time, if I'm having a bad day, is usually if I'm fucking hungry or, like, that's, like, because I'm usually a happy person.
Yeah.
Like, most of the time. So, like, if I'm, like, angry or something, it's usually because I'm either hungry or, like, hot, or especially at work type shit,
Yeah, but it's like, what do you do? Say you're hungry or you're hot. What do you do about that? You don't just say, I'm... Exactly. You take action.
Yeah, or go sit like, hey, can I step outside real quick? Cool off.
Yeah.
Type shit.
Yeah.
I guess that was a good example.
I mean, yeah, well, because it correlates to it. It's like, but if to bring it back to the conversation, though, it's like if you want to be a good musician or a good painter or a good cook, you don't just wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, I'm a good cook. I'm going to be a good chef. I'm going to be a good painter. I'm going to be a good musician today. You can say that, and it will work for the most part, but you have to go and put that work in.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like working out. You have to put the reps in. You have to do hard things to be better. You have to exhaust yourself. And I wrote this down. I don't know if you've seen it on the whiteboard, but evidence over affirmation. And what that means is, and I didn't come up with that necessarily. I heard it in a series of things, and I was like, I'm going to sum that up because that's a beautiful phrase. Evidence over affirmation, meaning quit affirming yourself, right? Quit telling yourself things in the mirror. What you need to do is go create evidence that you're great. Show people that you're great. Show yourself that you're great by putting in that work and that discipline and doing those things. If you want to be good at what you do, make it evident. Be undeniable. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm just so fucking lit right now about this. Not from drugs, maybe caffeine, but I'm just so I'm so excited about life. I think that's all. I'm just so and like I was saying, it's like every day you have to. I feel like, as far as like putting in the work and doing the things, it's like even if you want to just have a good day, you have to put in that work to go have the good day. And it's never like a one and done thing. You have to maintain yourself every day. If you want to have a good day every single day, you got to wake up, go fucking tell yourself whatever you need to in the mirror, and then go hold the fucking door open for somebody. Walk an old lady across the road. Make your day good. And if you're discouraged, encourage. I found that's a wild thing. If I feel like shit about myself and my craft, even if it's like shoot a message to a musician friend and be like, hey man, I just want you to know that you're doing fucking awesome. Or like somebody's like, I'm down and depressed about my craft. It's like, come on, fucking keep going. Those words you're telling somebody else will feed back and echo into your own brain. And it'll help. I feel like, yeah, if you're discouraged, encourage. You know? You gotta go and put that work in, I feel like. You gotta put the work in. And I'm realizing that. Because it's not like I never did put the work in, but you get to that point where you get exhausted and you don't know where to go. And it's like you gotta be like, you know, I don't know if I keep mentioning Goggins, David Goggins, but he's like he's just a monster. He's like a motivational guy, and he's just like, I don't know if you've ever seen that like skinny, light-skinned black man lifting weights online, but he's like, who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? And it's just like, you don't know me, and he's just sitting there doing like only like 90 pounds, but he's doing like 600 reps, and he's just like, you don't know me, who's gonna carry the boats? Stay hard, motherfucker. It's like the greatest thing in the world, and it's so entertaining and so like, I'm gonna carry the boats. But to like bring that over to like doing, you can take you know, it's just like the Book of the Five Rings. Once you find the way, you'll see it in everything, and it's like you exercise and working out. I always try to correlate that, like, especially like, I think that's truly what the art of the jam is. Slowly but surely, I'm figuring out what the art of the jam is. It's the point of the show, but it's like you see like people like Rodney Mullen, or who's a professional skateboarder. Okay, he's like,
I'm familiar with like the older skateboarders.
Well, he's like the skateboarder to me. But like him, he's like so like Buddha about it. Like it's like a philosophical lifestyle for him to be. He's so disciplined about it, and he's like in his 50s and he's still skating.
Did he fucking what move did he invent?
The kickflip.
Okay, yeah.
He literally invented
what
we know as skateboarding, but
there was one crazy one that he also did too.
He got this hip thing, right? And this is how much of a hard ass Rodney Mullen is. He had this like hip, something fucked up with his hip, right? So it was basically like stiff and it wouldn't rotate, and he would climb he couldn't skate anymore. So how he would skate is he would put himself in the wheel well of a car, right? And he would like torque his hip until he would fucking break it loose so he could move it again, and then he would go skate. He would do that every day.
What do you mean tire wall?
I don't even know. The way he was explaining it, I was like, I would have to see him do it. It's one of those things.
Putting his fucking leg in like the
tire wall. And he would torque
wall?
it to where it would like micro fracture pretty much his hip, kind of, and it would snap it to where his hip would. It was almost like like, I don't want to say congealed,
popping it in and out of place almost.
In a way, but it was almost like a buildup of like cartilage, like it was just or something, and he would just crack it every day, every night, because he goes out and skates in the middle of the night by himself wherever he is, and so he would like pretty much break his fucking hip every night so he could go skate. It's fucking
wild.
Yeah. But it's like if you want to reach that level, right, it's like you gotta you gotta be wild about it. It's fucking crazy, but do hard things. All right, do them, because that's the only way you're gonna get better. I feel like, and you want to also follow your gut too. I feel like if there's times where you're like, I should be practicing right now, go fucking practice. if you
Just before I went to get, like, I don't remember what I was doing, and I was like, oh, I'll go get the trash can and shit. And that's what I was sitting on the couch. It was like, man, maybe I should play. Like,
Yeah.
talking, and then I went out there and then right into you. It was like, it was funny.
Yeah, but yeah, and honestly, if you are practicing and it's starting to sour on you, say you're doing a riff, you're stuck in that loop, it starts to sour. Sit with it, you know. It's like just be with your instrument. You don't have to play it. I feel like that there's see what works for you too. You know, it's like it. I don't know. I've been thinking about I've been thinking about practice regimens lately. It's like how much is too much, how much is too little. But you know, it's just one of those things I feel like is something to talk about with the public and the audience, because it can go with anything, you know. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. So I'll say it again because I love it so much, but evidence over affirmation, that's a fucking words to live by. And for me anyway, you don't have to fucking live by it if you don't want to. But I think that's a good stopping point here. I will say, and you'll probably have already seen it because I forgot that I usually do like a little break in the middle and do the jam portion, but I forgot. So I hope you enjoyed the jam. It'll be snuck in there somewhere. And it's a nice little driveway jam. I'm going to do that one because I recorded that little driveway jam. Yeah, because it was nice. After cider days, we got back pretty early because we had an early set, and we always talked about just playing outside in the driveway or whatever and what have you on a nice day. And so we finally did that because we had the time. So you'll see that. But I hope you enjoyed it. I did listen to a little bit of it back. I usually don't do that. I usually just throw it in there. But it was pretty swell. I enjoyed it. It was fun. So, guys, we are going to live with cause and leave results to the great law of the universe. We are going to pass each and every day in peaceful contemplation, patient, and all the while remaining present in our lives. So after this episode, go out and kiss your dog, pet your wife, hug a tree, touch some grass, shake your dick a few extra times. Like shake your dick like a cigarette. Yeah, Dick Cigarette. That's a good band name. Maybe, I don't know.
Honestly, shake your dick like a cigarette sounds like a song name.
Yeah, it does. Like almost like a Soldier Boy type of thing. Like shake your dick like a cigarette. Shake your dick like something like a trendy dance. Yeah. Well, like the Bernie or something like that. But
the dance that'll get you charges.
Yeah. If you would like to go to jail for a dance,
flick your dick like a cigarette.
Flick your dick like a cigarette. Flick your dick like a cigarette. Flick your dick like a cigarette.
Flick your dick like a cigarette.
Yeah. Guys, without further ado, we have just brought to you
Order the Jam.
Order that jam.
And stay funky, y'all.
And flick your dick like a cigarette. Flick your dick like a cigarette. Thank you all for listening. Flick your dick like a cigarette. Flick your dick like a cigarette.
Sounds like a robot. Flick your dick like a cigarette.
Flick your dick like a cigarette. Flick your dick like a cigarette. Guys, thank you for listening. I don't know why I'm still talking on the mic, but we having a good time licking our dicks like a cigarette.